Hey guys, it's Alyssa with the Andrews Archives, and I am really excited to share the deck today with you. We are going to be talking about Alela, Cunning Conqueror, Eclipsed Faerie Swarm, and I am personally building this deck for myself, so that's why I'm so excited. But before we get into this one, I just want to give a little bit of context on how I came up with this. So a while back, I had made a short deck video idea about fairies, and I based this around Lorwyn Eclipse happening, so I really wanted to make sure it was all fairy based. It was really tied into Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, and Lorwyn Eclipsed. I knew I wanted to build something from it. I thought it was beautiful, but I'm a newer Magic player and I didn't know anything about the previous realms of Lorwyn and Shadowmoor, so I did a lot of research on them. I actually started reading books about them, the Lorwyn book, and I have a lore video that I did not too long ago, so check that out if you're interested in some of the lore. But this deck is probably my favorite one that I've built so far. Lorwyn Eclipse is actually the first Magic Realm release that I've gotten to go to, so this deck is a little bit extra special to me, and I know I'm going to have a lot of fun playing it, so I'm really excited to share. So let's start off with our commander, Alela, Cunning Conqueror. She rewards us for playing Magic the way fairies want to play, patiently, at instant speed. So whenever we cast a spell during an opponent's turn, we get to create a 1/1 fairy rogue token with flying. The play pattern of this felt really Lorwyn. Fairies don't rush. They come up with a plan, they wait, and they attack when they know they need to. Now this game plan is honestly pretty simple. We're playing at instant speed, whether it's on our turn or somebody else's. We're also working on building a fairy board naturally, and we're punishing greedy or sloppy plays and winning through evasive pressure with all of those fairies that we're going to end up creating. We're not trying to end the game early. We are trying to make sure the game ends on our terms though. Now early on, we are working on setting up some expectations for the game. We're having some cheap fairies come out and also cheap interaction, and those things are triggering our commander, but we are not going to be rushing her out. We want to keep her back until it is the right time. And this patience and cleverness is really what drew me to fairies in the first place. I really like that play style. We have several fairies here that I would like to talk about. We have Fairy Seer, which gives us some early scry, Fairy Harbinger, which tutors a fairy to the top. This can be a super helpful card in the deck. We've also got Illusion Spinners, Glamourmite, and Glamour Gifter, and those three are from Lorwyn Eclipsed, and I could not wait to put those in this deck. Mid-game is where this really starts feeling like a fairy swarm, and that's part of the reason why I came up with the name, because I have a ton of fairies on the board by now, I'm hoping. We have Vendilion Clique, which is pronounced click where I'm from, but it disrupts hands. We also have Brazen Borrower. Scion of Una protects the board and reinforces that once the swarm forms, it's really hard to break it apart. I've also got Obira, Dreaming Duelist here, and whenever another fairy enters, each opponent loses 1 life. I absolutely loved including this card because I knew my pod would hate it, so that's why it's in there. Now this is where the lore really influenced some of my choices. Lorwyn and Shadowmoor are the same plane, just transformed, but before they were Lorwyn Eclipsed, they were those two separate parts, day and night. So I wanted to include some of those original cards. Bitter Blossom is the first one that I want to mention. It's the perfect example of that shift happening. So this is originally from Morningtide, and it was a special guest art in the Lorwyn Eclipse set. The art really brings it back in a way that feels intentional, and you are getting beauty from this card, but you're also paying for it. You are losing 1 life, but getting to create a 1/1 Black Fairy Rogue creature token with flying at the beginning of your upkeep. So that's kind of the cost for the beauty of this card. The next card I want to talk about is Bitter Bloom Bearer, and Bitter Bloom Bearer really continues that idea. It's basically almost the same card. It does have flash, but again, the art is just so pretty on these cards. We then have Fairy Macabre, and this is originally from Shadowmoor, but it was also brought back as special guest art. I'm going to show both cards again side side by side. Now, the interaction I picked for this deck is really on theme. We have Fairy Trickery, and it counters and exiles spells so they don't come back. We also have Dream Fracture. It answers a problem but replaces itself. We also have Drown in the Loch, and Glen Elindra's Answer ties interaction directly to the Faerie Swarm. And if you didn't know, that is where those fairies live, which is why this is so fitting with the deck. Now let's get into a little bit of Shadowmoor's influence, the dark side of the plane. Now, Puppeteer Clique is a reprint that was originally from Shadowmoor, and it's very Shadowmoor feeling with what it's doing. Even after something dies, control doesn't always end. We are bringing that back onto our field with this card, and I love that. That lingering influence fits the deck perfectly. Another card that goes along with the same thing of returning creatures is Bloodline Bidding, and this one is from Lorwyn Eclipsed as well. We can choose a creature type and return all of those from the graveyard to the battlefield. Of course, we are running fairies, and that's what the whole deck is. If there's a board wipe, guess what? We've got a solution to it. Now, our fairies don't win by rushing, they win by making the game uncomfortable. Just like Una did with her control over all of the fairies in the Lorwyn Shadowmoor realm. She was putting the ideas in everybody's head, watching them. We're kind of working on controlling the board with our fairies too. Fairy Mastermind punishes extra draws. Talion punishes greed. Kindred Discovery draws cards just for playing fairies. Fairy Taunt turns every spell into pressure, and the game doesn't end suddenly. It feels like the fairies are starting to close in. Now, speaking of Una, Queen of the Fae, but she turns mana into exile and into flying tokens. Fairy Formation converts excess mana into fairies, and then I had a couple cards here that I ended up trading out. Originally, I had planned on using Sheoldred, and that was going to be my one fairy exception, but I decided to go with Tegwell, Duke of Splendor instead. A big reason for this was card cost. The difference in price is huge, but also other fairies that I control get +1/+1, and this one has flying and death touch, which is always helpful in the deck. Now, one thing I also really cared about was how this deck looks on the battlefield. So I wanted to make the lands even feel like I had fairies everywhere. So the first land that I'm mentioning is Fairy Conclave, and this one isn't just mana, it literally becomes a fairy. Mutavault does something similar, and the art here is just gorgeous. So when it's animated, it does count as a fairy, which means it works with our tribal synergies, and it applies pressure without really taking up a creature spot. Mystic Sanctuary brings spells back and rewards careful sequencing. River of Tears asks you to think ahead, which really fits with the fairy cleverness perfectly. And Tainted Isle reinforces that Dimir is slightly unsettling. Now, for the actual Lorwyn Eclipse part of these lands, I went with the basic islands and swamps for this because the art here is just absolutely gorgeous, and I really wanted to feature that in my deck. This deck really exists because I saw Lorwyn Eclipse was coming out, and I wanted to know what is Lorwyn, and I found out more about the lore, and I just fell in love with this plane. And I wish I was around playing Magic when Lorwyn and Shadowmoor and Morningtide and Eventide came out, because it would have been absolutely amazing to feel that nostalgia for this. So if you were playing back then, I am slightly jealous of you for getting to experience all of that. But I am so happy that I got to experience Lorwyn Eclipse firsthand, and I hope you enjoy this deck build. It is linked down below, so make sure you check that out if you are interested. Before you head out, just a reminder, we are still doing that Avatar Last Airbender collector booster box giveaway. Just make sure you're following on Facebook and subscribed here on YouTube. Here it is, in case you're wondering, I am telling the truth. All you have to do is follow on those two platforms. This has been my favorite deck to build so far, and I cannot wait to play it. I'm still trying to get my hands on a few of these cards, so when I get them, I'll let you know how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe.